Yeah, it absolutely is. You know, it's no wonder there's so many thousands of fans who are celebrating over the last couple of years. It's been such a rise back to the for Luton Town. It was 1992 the last time that they were in the top flight. That was when top flight football was turning into the Premier League, and they were relegated, so they didn't quite make it into that first season of the Premier League, and it has taken until now for Luton Town to get right back to the top flight of football. And it's been quite a journey as well, you know, because over the years, it was 10 years ago that they kind of fell down through the ranks. They were playing in non-league football. That's the fifth tier of football. They'd gone through various administrations, they'd had points deductions, they were relegated, you know, so it's been a real rise for Luton Town to be back at the top table of football. You know, it's been a real journey for them as a club, for their fan base, in order to getting back there. And as we've been hearing, you know, over the last half hour, even with them back at the top flight of football now, they have done it in such a sensible way over the last couple of years. A lot of times we look at the top flight of football and we see astronomical amounts of money being spent on players and on facilities and resources, and we're seeing the ground that they play in, and also, you know, the budget, the very small budget they have for their players. A budget that was small in the Championship. It was more comparable to a budget of players for League One, and yet they have been able to secure their promotion to the top flight for that. So it's a real... If you're a neutral sports fan, it's a real story you're able to get behind. It's a real romantic story, isn't it, to have Luton Town right back at the top of football now.
Yeah, we like a fairy tale, don't we? Just as we're talking to you, we're seeing the pictures of the players finally going towards their bus with their medals round their necks, and we saw the playoff trophy leading the way ahead of them. They've got it already. They're already going to have it on the bus with them, and then we're going to see it sort of presented to them. So they'll hand it over to somebody, and then the mayor will present it to them on the stage at St George's Square in a few minutes. So basically, the bus is going to drive about a mile from the stadium there, from the ground, all the way through. It was going to take them about 15 minutes, we think, to drive there, where they're going to be greeted by thousands of fans. And Sarah, I was on here in the studio on Saturday watching you presenting your sports programme while that penalty shootout was taking place. It was really hard to concentrate on what you were doing, I know, but it was just such an extraordinary penalty shootout. Such brilliant penalties, and so calm, weren't they? All of them, actually. I mean, obviously it's so sad at the end, you know, when it doesn't go Coventry's way. It didn't go Coventry's way, but it was such a brilliant penalty shootout as a neutral.
Absolutely, and I think as a neutral, the Championship playoff final is probably one of the best games that you can watch, because for all the clubs involved every year, there is so much on the line, and particularly when you had the likes of Luton and also Coventry, who had a similar enough story in terms of where they've come from, battling it out to make the top flight, and the way they did it, you know, it is just enthralling. And the drama we got, you know, Luton were on top for the first half, they were in control of it, they were ahead. Coventry fought back in the second half. We went to extra time. We actually had the ball in the back of the net. A Luton player thought he had scored, but that was ruled out for handball, and so it went to penalties. And I mean, anything going to penalties, you have to applaud any player that steps up and, you know, puts themselves forward bravely to take a penalty in that moment. You know, I always feel those nerves in my stomach, even if I'm not even related or backing any of the team, when a player steps up to the spot to take a spot kick. And they were brilliant penalties. You know, every one of them scored in the first five, and so it went to sudden death. And you felt for Dabo, the Coventry player who missed it at the end. It's the cruelest way for teams to go out, but, you know, such joy and elation for those Luton Town players, who I'm sure have been celebrating for the last couple of days, and will be celebrated and serenaded here by their fans. And, you know, also just a word for Tom Lockyer as well, who is their captain, who went down in the first half, was taken away, was in hospital. We've known that he's been tweeting, and his dad has been tweeting that he's been undergoing tests, and he was able to celebrate from there, which was good to see. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see whether he's been released from hospital and will be on the bus in order to celebrate. But, you know, there was that moment within that game when you felt maybe this could have changed it for Luton Town, you know, with Tom going off. But actually it almost galvanised them, and it was really nice for the team to be able to do it for him in that moment as well.
Yeah, I don't think that I saw Lockyer getting on the bus there. I may have missed him, so do let me know if you see him as well. Yeah, we should spare a thought, shouldn't we, for Coventry's Fankati Darboe, who's probably not watching right now, though, I should say, because it's just so cruel, isn't it, I suppose, a penalty shootout. But it does bode well for them, doesn't it, you know, to show for Luton, to show how cool they are under pressure, because they are facing a lot of pressure now, aren't they, in the Premier League?
It is a massive step up for Luton Town to be playing in the Premier League next year. But they've a really good squad and they've a really good manager in Rob Edwards. And he actually, you know, was managing Watford at the start of the season. So he kind of understands, you know, what it's like to be competing at the very kind of top level, and also kind of competing when there's an awful lot more of a spotlight on you, an awful lot more pressure. Watford themselves, you know, it's you know, a club where it comes with an awful lot of pressure and attention, and he didn't last that long, you know, so he kind of learned and grew from it. He had previously been at Forest Green Rovers, who are similar to Luton in terms of how they've been kind of managing themselves and kind of getting up through the system, you know. So he's kind of built a team around it. He took over a team that were already well organised. Nathan Jones has been in charge, you know, for a significant period of Luton's development and progression through the leagues over the last couple of years. And he took them on. He didn't change an awful lot. He just got them consistently playing the way that they have been set up to play, empowering them, giving them the confidence to play. He's maybe brought a little bit more aggression to their play. And it's always really interesting as well when you have a championship team stepping into the Premier League and the different styles of play that you can see in the championship in comparison to top flight football, and that'll change for Luton Town. But, you know, for the smaller teams traditionally coming up in that first season, a lot of it relies on the team bonds that they have and how used to playing together that they are. And I imagine that will be, you know, a big part of Luton's plans next year, to keep a lot of the spine of players together so they have that sense of familiarity, and then bring in, you know, a couple of players who can add to what they already have. There's no doubt that there will be a big test, but there will also be huge excitement for them. You know, that adrenaline I'm sure they will feel when they have that first Premier League game come the new season, and, you know, what the fans can do to really get behind them. And that can be a really powerful thing when they're coming up against the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and Manchester United, who are used to this stuff day in, day out.
Yeah, and it will be interesting for the Premier League players from the, you know, some of the biggest clubs in the world going to that ground that we were just seeing the buses outside of Kenilworth Road, where, as you know, as we've been hearing, it's only got a capacity of 10,000 people. The intimacy of the match, that they will, you know, perhaps maybe they will feel a different kind of pressure because they're so unused to playing in that sort of surroundings. I wonder if that will have an impact on them, sort of maybe mentally. We're just while we're speaking, we're just looking at the pictures of the bus. This is the team. They are on board the bus now with the playoff trophy, and it's not moved yet. It's sitting there it's been sitting there for a little while. A lot of people there sending them off, but it is going to be moving through the streets to St George's Square, where thousands of people dressed in orange are waiting to congratulate them. So yeah, I suppose, Sarah, do you think that, you know, it could have an impact on other Premier League players when they come to the ground, the difference for them?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it'll be one of the things that Luton as a club and a team will try and really kind of harness, is the power of this intimate ground and using it as a fortress, and really kind of trying to play that to their strengths. Because you look at some of the other teams and they will be used to playing, you know, potentially on wider pitches where there's more space. You know, different styles of football can play well on that. But if you're coming into a more claustrophobic environment, you know, where the crowds will really be on top of them, you know, they may not be able to hear as much as they're usually able to hear when fans are so close to them, you know, whether they would hear the instructions coming on from the sideline. It's all those different things that a lot of the top end players won't be used to for, you know, for many years, and, you know, from when they were, you know, starting out. So I'm sure Luton Town will be trying to make it as much of an advantage and a bonus and a positive for them, and the fans will play a huge part in that, and they will know that themselves. You know, that's something that will mark them apart, and they will want to use that as a 12th man.
Yeah, I'm glad to tell you that our reporter Tom Williams has made it onto the top of that bus. I've just seen him on there. There's a lot of media on top of that bus, as well as all the players and the trophy. So hopefully we will get to hear from him a little bit later when we can get to him. He's going to be able to talk to some of the players. I wonder if that will change as well. I wonder whether they'll be less likely to want to talk to the media. It might be harder to get to them when they're Premier League players.
Oh, it's always the way, isn't it? We want so much, don't we? But yeah, they will have busier schedules. You know, they will have increased attention and scrutiny on them. You know, it's there is so much more that goes along with being a Premier League player now, and probably one of the biggest things is the change in the global attention around the world. You know, the Premier League is a huge export around the world. You know, for clubs, there's a huge marketing advantage and bonus to making it there. You know, there's so much support and following for the Premier League all around the world in new markets and territories for them, that it's a different world, and those players will have the summer to try and wrap their heads around it, and they'll have felt it over the last couple of days, you know, with the attention and the celebrations and everybody looking for interviews and wanting to kind of know how they're all getting on celebrating together, and it's a real positive moment. But it will be an adjustment for them, and you know, when it starts off, you know, if things are going well, that's great, but if they're finding that, you know, results aren't going their way, and that maybe their style of football isn't quite, you know, gelling or fitting in the Premier League, and if they're finding themselves down in a relegation battle, that attention will be so much greater than they will have experienced before in Championship and lower league football. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, how they kind of manage that and navigate that. But that will be everything that Rob Edwards and the team around them will be using as inspiration for them, saying this is your moment, you know, this is where you want to be as an athlete, this is the pressure you want to put yourself under to perform on the highest level, and they just need to kind of, I suppose, manage it in the right way and get the right messages across in a positive way to those players who will be, no doubt, looking forward to a little bit of a summer off, but so excited, I'm sure, for Premier League football next season.
Yeah, and we're just seeing the buses finally moving. They are making their way very, very slowly through the very narrow streets there next to the stadium at Kenilworth Road. And I think, as you mentioned about the celebrations, the players are absolutely loving it, as you would expect. And I think I heard one of them say the other day that they're going to go to Vegas to continue the celebrations later on this week. So they may go completely crazy there. I think it was Pelly Roddick Panzu, actually. We should mention him, shouldn't we? Because he's the first player that has risen from non-league to the Premier League with the same club.
Exactly. He's come through all the ranks, the different ranks, you know, from non-league football, the fifth tier of football, with Luton Town all the way through, every single promotion along the way, from non-league football right to the top of, you know, the English football pyramid, making it to the Premier League, the first player to do that. A lot of people will think about, you know, one of the other Premier League fairy tales in Leicester, who, unfortunately for Leicester City fans, they were relegated yesterday, so they will be dreaming back to when they won the Premier League title back in 2016. But Jamie Vardy was another one of those type of players who we saw kind of, you know, start off in non-league football, coming through the ranks of the lower echelons and then achieving great success. And a lot of times, you know, players have different paths to the top. There can be an academy system, you know, they can be pinpointed from a very young age and can kind of walk their way into, you know, top flight football. But for an awful lot of footballers, you know, they will play week in, week out in the lower leagues and will feel that they could compete at the top. And, you know, it's just a wonderful story for Mpanzu to get there and to be able to kind of have his moment and the long journey he's been on, and to be able to prove that to himself that he could reach the very top.
Yeah, OK, well, stay with us, Sarah. I just want to bring in Dawn Harron, whose son, Charlie, was the mascot on Saturday. Hello to you, Dawn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I bet you guys are a bit over the moon. How was that on Saturday?
Yeah, it was an incredible, absolutely overwhelming day. Charlie went with his dad, actually, and I just took my daughter Izzy. We went over to watch and support the lad from afar, and we all had an amazing day, once in a lifetime opportunity.
So what did he do? Who did he walk out with?
Yeah, so he was obviously with the team and walked out with obviously Tom Lockyer, and yeah, had an amazing time. Stood with Rob as well. They were all amazing with him, and he absolutely loved and cherished every minute of it.
How old is he?
It was a spectacular day. Charlie is 14.
All right. Did he tell you about his conversation with Tom before the match? Did he let you know what they chat? Did they chat even?
Do you know what? No, because Charlie is the shyest character you'll ever meet. Hence, he's not here. I'm doing this. He really is very understated, doesn't like fuss. He went out in front of 86,000 people, and you know, all his friends and family were overwhelmed that he even did it, because he's a shy character, doesn't like any fuss. But what a day, what an absolute day, and what a little star he was, and what an experience that he'll never forget. You know, the team were amazing with him.
A little bit shy, but fine to walk out onto the pitch at Wembley.
I know, right?
Full of thousands of people.
We were still waiting for him to back out at the last minute, because obviously everyone was like, you know, 86,000 people are going to be there, no pressure, and millions watching as well, hundreds of thousands watching, you know.
So have you been Luton Town fans forever? Did he have any choice?
Yeah. No, he didn't. No, he's been a lifelong Luton Town fan, won't support any other team apart from England. And obviously he was in a team, Aspley Guys, before he was diagnosed with bone cancer last April. And he was in Division 1, sort of loving his football, you know, so it made the day more special. So Charlie can't play football again now. So this opportunity really made his day, you know, made his year.
Yeah, well, and he'll feel so connected to them even more now, won't he?
Absolutely.
I suppose. You know, I expect he was really worried as well when Tom Lockyer collapsed on the pitch, I would think, having just walked out with him. What does it mean for you as a family, for the town? It's such a big deal, isn't it, this?
It's a massive deal. It will really bring Luton back on the map, because obviously, you know, Luton is hated by everyone, but we're a family. You know, Luton Town are a family team, and it proved it, giving Charlie the opportunity to go with the team onto the stadium. And you know, Luton, 37,000 tickets were sold just like that, and I'm sure they'd have sold a lot more if they'd have been available. So I think we'll all be very ready for them to go in the Premiership, you know. And as I say, Charlie will be there at the games. Yeah, definitely.
Is everyone a Luton Town fan now? Are you going to have some Glory supporters turning up because you're in the Premier League who've never bothered before, do you think?
I imagine so, yeah. I imagine so, definitely. But Charlie and his dad have been lifelong Luton Town, you know, supporters. And Charlie's granddad, Colin, worked for Luton Town as a steward for 40 years. And it's in their blood, you know. So, yeah, I'm sure there will be some Glory hunters and coming along. But it's all good.
Are you ready for the changes, though?
I guess.
Are you supportive? Are you worried about the idea of losing Kenilworth Road as it's, you know, as it is? You know, it's got to change, hasn't it? It's
got to change, and it's going to obviously bring in, you know, it's good for our economy in Luton. Not so sure about the traffic, and obviously when the main games are on, it could be an issue. But yeah,
because we're looking at the pictures now of the buses which have just left. The two buses the players are on have just left the ground, and they're moving very slowly, as you'd expect, so that everybody walking along with them and standing at the side of the road can see them. But the road is very narrow, isn't it? I mean, just to tell us what it's like around there, because it's basically, you know, all terrace houses, and then this stadium sort of crammed right in the middle of all these terraces. The away fans have to walk in a gate which is pretty much in a row of terrace houses.
That's it. It's in a back street. You'd never even realise it was there, to be honest. So yeah, when they get the new stadium, obviously it's gonna be immense. But right now you can't really see it all happening, you know, because yeah, I mean, it'll be exciting for everyone. It'll be exciting for all the businesses round in Luton, for obviously house prices, you know, and obviously Luton Town deserve to play in a brilliant new stadium.
Are they going to have to close the roads and everything every time there's a match, do you think? Is it going to be that big an impact?
Yeah, I think there'll be a massive impact with the centre of Luton to get in and out, definitely.
Yeah, and then eventually you'll move stadiums, won't you, to the Power Court Stadium? How do you feel about that?
That's it. No, that'll be amazing. That will be amazing to get it over there. It's all disused land at the moment, so to actually put the stadium over there will be brilliant.
Yeah. OK, well, thank you so much for talking to us, Dawn. It's really lovely, and do send our best to Charlie and say congratulations to him for his brilliant performance.
I know, he did amazing, didn't he? He was absolutely shattered. We all stayed in bed this morning till late, and he's off on holiday. So he's been ill, obviously, with the bone cancer, osteosarcoma, for the last year. So he spent a year practically living at the UCLH hospital in London, which is an amazing hospital, and basically he's nearly finished his immunotherapy now. He's almost finished now, and he's off to Mallorca with his dad tomorrow. So
very nice.
Have a nice trip away and get some rest, bless him, and well deserved. So yeah, thank you.
Well, I hope he's going to get to watch the coverage of some of the players. They're going to be talking on the stage a bit later. Thank you so much, Dawn Harron, for us there. His son Charlie was a mascot on Saturday. Got to walk out with Tom Lockyer onto the pitch at Wembley in front of so many thousands of people. Well done to him. We're just watching these pictures now of the two buses carrying the Luton Town players making their way through the streets of Luton. They've got about a mile to go, but at this speed it's going to take them quite a while. Got so many people have come out to watch them. If you want to carry on watching, you carry on online or switch over to the BBC News channel if you're on BBC Two. Thanks very much for watching. And we were going to stay with these pictures because there's so many people waiting to see that bus arrive at St George's Square. Thousands of people. It's a sea of orange. There we go. There it is, waving their flags, and they've been dancing and cheering for the last couple of hours, actually, even though the guys haven't arrived yet. You can have a listen in. There's thousands of people in the centre of Luton as Luton celebrate their promotion to the Premier League. It really is a fairy tale story, isn't it? From non-league football to the top tier. The parade has started from Kenilworth Road and heading its way through the city centre to those thousands of fans there on the left of your screen waiting to greet them. The Hatters beat Coventry City, of course, in the sudden death penalties in the Championship playoff final on Saturday, sending them back to top-flight football for the first time in 31 years, and really was huge celebrations going on around Luton, and particularly there in the city centre. Let's see if we can bring back Ryan Dilks from the second tier podcast. And Ryan, we're just hearing from the fans there, hearing about how big a deal this is for them, and the changes that they are going to expect and how they're ready for it. You know, we do hope that this isn't a sort of short-lived celebration just for their sake, don't we?
Yeah, of course. But I think at the end of the day, this coming season will be one of those that fans will remember for the rest of their lives, whether they stay up or not. I hope that they do stay up, because it'd be great for Luton fans to get rewarded after everything they've been through over the years. We can't forget, 15 years ago, they nearly went out of business. They're in administration. They were tumbling down the leagues. It was not looking good for Luton Town. And then they've just gone on this huge, ridiculous journey ever since, where they've gone through the divisions, back up to the Premier League. And they're getting rewarded for sticking with their club over these years. I mean, even when they were down in the Conference, League Two, what have you, they were still posting brilliant attendances, considering, you know, how small the stadium is. They are limited in that sense, but they've stuck with them throughout the years, and now they're getting their reward of playing against the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, all those sides. And if they manage to stay up, it'll be even better. It will be one hell of a journey that they've been on.
Yeah, OK. Well, thanks for joining us. Don't go away. We'll come back to you a little bit later as we carry on our coverage of what's going on there in Luton. Thanks to Ryan Dilks there from the Second Tier podcast. But we're just going to pause for a moment because we have some breaking news on another football story this lunchtime. And Chelsea have just announced that they have a new manager. We can go live now to our sports reporter, Ben Croucher. Ben.
Yeah, Mauricio Pochettino is a man who needs little introduction to the Premier League, but it seems that Chelsea have got their man because he is going to be appointed their new head coach. He took Tottenham, you might remember, to the Champions League final for 5 years whilst he was at White Hart Lane. He's since led Paris Saint-Germain to the French title as well, but he's been out of work since last summer. He'll walk into Chelsea in July with the club pretty much in disarray right now. They've suffered their worst Premier League season ever. They sacked 2 managers. They've got a huge, expensively assembled squad that were not performing well. Now, Pochettino is one of the most highly rated managers in the world. He's built his reputation on building young squads over time. Quite how that tessellates with Chelsea's vast, expensively assembled squad at Cobham remains to be seen. The club have spent almost £600 million, $740 million over the last 18 months or so. Pochettino signed a 3-year contract at Stamford Bridge. The club have said his experience and standards of excellence, leadership qualities and character will serve Chelsea Football Club well as they move forward. He's a winning coach who's worked at the highest levels in multiple leagues and languages. His ethos, tactical approach and commitment to development all make him the exceptional candidate, whilst the club's owner, Todd Bowley, has said he's a world-class coach with an outstanding track record. He's got a lot on his hands. As I say, Chelsea finished 12th in the Premier League this season. That is their worst ever, but they do now finally have one of the best coaches in world football to lead them forward.
Yeah, and they've got Luton to deal with now as well, haven't they?
They have indeed, yes.
Thank you very much. Ben Croucher there, thank you with that breaking news on Chelsea. Let's go back to Ryan Dilks, who we were just talking to about what's going on in Luton today. Massive celebrations, of course, celebrating their promotion to the Premier League. Do you want to say a little bit about Pochettino?
It's going to be great to see how he deals with the tight changing rooms at Kenilworth Road. I think he's going to be really looking forward to that. I mean, I'm a Championship fan, but from a general footballing perspective, I think this is the right appointment that Chelsea should be going for. I think Graham Potter wasn't a smart choice. I don't think that's the kind of manager that they go for. I think Chelsea go for big-name managers and should stick to that philosophy, because that's worked with them for the past few years instead of building something with a manager. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how Pochettino does. It's going to be a huge job that he's got a huge job on his hands after the season that Chelsea have just had. But, yeah, hope he enjoys Kenilworth Road.
Yes. Well, let's see more of those pictures, shall we, from the centre of Luton. These are the 2 buses making their way very, very slowly from the ground, from Kenilworth Road, through all those terrace houses. It's not very far to go to St George's Square, where thousands of fans are gathered there in the sunshine, getting very excited, getting ready to greet their teams. Oh, it's Sweet Caroline, I expect, isn't it? Always. There's always room for Sweet Caroline. And just tell me, what is the atmosphere like at Kenilworth Road, Ryan, when it's in full song?
It's a really fierce atmosphere. You've got the fans basically on top of you, and when you're a player, I imagine that's really intimidating to come up against. So, you know, before there was the old cliche of a cold, windy Tuesday night in Stoke, I imagine it's now going to be a cold, windy Tuesday night in Luton instead, because it's going to be the kind of place that players won't want to go to. Teams will be worried about the atmosphere that's going to be made at Kenilworth Road. And when you've got the players who will be working their socks off like they have done this season, they're getting right in your faces as well, it's going to be really different to what plenty of these players have been used to over the past few years. So it's going to be a really unique occasion going to Kenilworth Road for not just the fans but the players as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you describe what looks like such a sweet, cute ground being described as fierce. But yeah, I can understand what you mean in terms of the hostile crowd. It was so interesting earlier, speaking to the football finance expert, talking about the differences in the money. If you break it down compared to, say, Manchester City, whose squad costs around £1 billion versus Luton Town squad, which costs around £4 or £5 billion. And the thought of players going to Kenilworth Road and being beaten by in terms of financially anyway, such a lesser team, it will be, they'll be worried about humiliation, won't they?
Well, I think humiliation would be a bit strong because, Luton have earned the opportunity to be in the Premier League, and the fact that they've done it on such a small budget it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Their business, their recruitment has just been ridiculously good now for years. Every player they've brought in has been brought in with an eye of being an important part of the squad. They fit the philosophy of the club. They are there because of the team spirit as well, what they can bring to the club in terms of what they bring in the dressing room as well. So, the budget that Luton have is small for Championship levels, let alone Premier League levels. So now that they've got that Premier League money, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they do in terms of bringing in players and the kind of players that they bring in. So that's one thing that I'm particularly looking forward to over the summer, and then just seeing how they do, because when the likes of Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne and all these other players as well from other big sides go to Kenilworth Road, it's going to be a really, really interesting watch for the next year.
It certainly will. It's going to be really great to follow. Thank you so much for your time today, Ryan. I really appreciate it, and I hope you can go and watch some of the celebrations now. Thank you for your time. Ryan Dilks there from the Second Tier podcast. We were hearing one contributor earlier talking about how many international fans Luton Town have got. Well, let's go live now to Norway, where we can speak to Lars Peter Luton Ronnestad, who is a lifelong Luton Town supporter. So, as you may have noticed, he changed his name, or you at least added a name, didn't you? Hello to you.
Hello, everyone.
So, how big a fan do you have to be in order to change your name? Talk us through this.
Yeah, I changed my name back in 2018. So, I've been a big fan since the 80s, and I thought it was a good idea to change my name to Luton. So the only one who wasn't happy about that was my wife. So
okay,
she told me to grow up soon.
I take it she didn't change hers too, then?
No, she didn't.
Okay, so what is it about Luton that is so special?
Watched them in football match live here in Norway back in the 80s. So in 1988, I saw them win 7-4 against Oxford United, and just became a Luton Town supporter, and then started to travel over in 1991, and the club has taken so good care of us all the way, and it's I just love Luton.
Okay, and how are they going to do then? Are you feeling nervous? How do you feel about being in the Premier League now?
It's I think I have so big faith in Mickey Harford, Gary Sweet, Rob Edwards, and everyone running the club, and we have done all these things without money, and think about it now. We're getting all this money, and I think we can do quite well, actually.
Now that's the thing, isn't it? Everybody talks about Wrexham and the fairy tale there, but they've had a lot of Hollywood money. But you guys have done it without that, haven't you? How have you done it?
No, it's good players recruiting, and it's very nice people who's running the club, and wise people, and we couldn't have any better people at the top of the club, and I have so big faith in them. And I think will scare many in the future. Yeah.
It's interesting to think about what the changes will be, won't it, for the team, and perhaps who they'll bring in over the summer. What are you hoping for? Any names in particular you would like to see?
I just hope we can keep the core of players we have now. I think it's a good group, and then hopefully Mickey Hafen and his recruitment team will get in 3-4 players, and it's all about keeping us up, I think. So that's the main goal next season, and building a new stadium, and now we have the finances for that. And
you'll have a lot more money, won't you? You will certainly see a change in the finances. I mean, it won't be the same compared to many of the other clubs there, but it will make a big difference, won't it?
Absolutely. So I'm excited to see what we can do now and getting all this money, and we went from having one of the lowest budgets in the Championship, and now we're suddenly probably among the 30th richest clubs in the world. So it's amazing. signs.
Yeah, I was just talking to one fan earlier who's saying we just need to do better than 3 clubs. That's all we need to do. The expectation isn't this high and the desire isn't this high. They just want to do better than 3 clubs so that you stay up. Is that is that you limiting your expectations as well?
Yeah, it's all about trying to stay alive and stay up next season. Yeah.
And how cool are you when it comes to VAR decisions? Because you're going to have to contend with them now.
Yeah, we didn't like. Obviously, we didn't like the VAR at Wembley. We had like 3 disallowed goals and so on. But I think it's okay. We're not used to it. We don't know what's meeting up. But I think it's okay. Yeah, we'll come through that one.
One thing you definitely are good at, or at least were very good at on Saturday, was the penalty shootout. I mean, it was just so cool, so calm, such brilliant penalties. How were you during that shootout? Were you at Wembley?
I couldn't see. It was for each penalty. I was thinking we're going to miss it, and then the boys they just scored, and it was the best penalties I ever seen. So, the management team have done a great job in the other ones training penalties, I think.
Yeah, OK. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it. And you certainly are the person with the best name that we've spoken to so far today. Thank you so much. Lars Peter Luton Ronestad, they're a true believer. So thanks very much for talking to us. We're still watching these pictures of the buses making their way through. Oh, I think we've got some, I wonder if it's fireworks, but maybe it just looks like flares actually. But these buses are making their way through the streets of Luton right now on their way to St George's Square, where thousands of fans are waiting to greet them. They're going to be going on the stage and being introduced to the fans there. I think we can go live to the bus now, can we? Tom Williams, over to you.
Well, this is the slowest bus journey I think I've ever been on, but everybody on board couldn't care less. It's fantastic. The noise is extraordinary, the fireworks are going off, and I've got one of Luton's Wembley heroes, Jordan Clark, with me. We're trying not to push down the stairs. Looks a bit hazardous, Jordan, but I suppose it's all worth it, isn't it?
Not if I can fall down there, and I can't play the first game in the Premier League at the moment. But like you said, we're not even going 2 miles an hour. It's mental, isn't it? The roads are so tight and the cars are, I don't know why people are trying to drive through Luton at this time of the day. It's crazy, but look how many people are here. It's mental. I didn't expect it to be like this. And apparently when we get to the square, it's going to be like 10,000 apparently, so it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, Jordan, this is just the start of it. Wow, that's an incredibly loud firework. When we get to St George's Square, I'm told it is absolutely packed. I'm not entirely sure we're ever going to get there because, as you said, I think 2 miles an hour is being a little bit generous.
Oh, yeah.
But at the start of the season, can you even envisage this was remotely possible?
Probably not the way we wanted to. Well, we always planned for the playoffs, I'll be honest. We planned for the playoffs, and then I suppose it was always to better last year. Obviously finished sixth last year and lost in the semi-final. So we always said, let's get to Wembley at least. But then when you get to Wembley, you don't want to lose. Do you know what I mean? So it was just all about winning. No matter how we play, no matter how we do it, just win the game. And it's been a long old slog all season. Obviously, with Nathan starting everything off and fetching, bringing the squad and improving the squad, which obviously don't get talked about enough. That was a massive. So he's got to take a lot of credit for that. And then, obviously, he left and went to Southampton, and then Rob came in and just picked up the pieces, inherited a top set of lads. The best group of lads I've ever worked with, you know, the spirit, how hard we work for each other, and he just let us play. He gave us a bit more confidence and just instilled that belief. Just go and express yourself. We're good enough. We knew it was good enough, and to do it the way we did it, I mean, I don't think there's a better way, to be honest. It's in probably the richest game in football, to win in a penalty shootout, which I never thought you'd ever get in your life. Sometimes people never get to play for Wembley, so to win at Wembley and to get into the Premier League just still hasn't sunk in yet.
And to score at Wembley, which you did.
I know. And yeah, it was surreal, so surreal still. Hey!
I mean, and it's a great illustration, isn't it, of what this means to the fans and the community here in Luton, which is quite special.
It is such a special club. I mean, I said it the other day, I mean, there's the staff, physios, sports science, analyst people, everyone who works behind the scenes. There's people who work here who are 30, 40 years fans of this club before they've even started working with the lads and stuff. You know, it's just a special club from top to bottom, and I'm just so happy for everyone at the club and all these fans.
Brilliant, Jordan. I'll see if I can grab a word with one of your teammates. Yeah. Many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's go and have a quick word with Carlton Morris. Carlton, we're live on BBC. I wouldn't mind a quick chat with you.
Hello.
This is all right, isn't it?
Yeah, Locks just texted me saying you're on TV, so...
You literally are now.
Yeah, literally, yeah. No, this is unbelievable experience, yeah. So this is definitely helping it sink in a bit more, though, for sure.
I mean, what a reception. And you're still nowhere near St George's Square. I'm not sure you're ever going to get there, but what a vibrant community. You sense just what it means to everyone. They were so thirsty for success. It's been such a difficult time for the club over the last few years, but wow, have you guys delivered.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Like, these people who've turned out in their thousands today, they've had so much to cheer for over the years with the promotions and stuff, but you know, now they get the rewards of Premier League giants to come to Kenilworth Road and come to this town, so yeah, it's a really exciting time.
Must have been a spine-tingling moment actually playing at Wembley, but I mean, how does this compare? I mean, back home in the community, this must make you feel good.
Yeah, there's definitely some similar emotions kicking off inside right now to that of the big game, but you know, this is incredible. It's just a much more enjoyable experience, just spending time today with the community and celebrating it together.
How's Tom Lockyer?
Yeah, he's good. He's really positive. He's cracking jokes, making me laugh like usual. So yeah, I just can't wait to have him home.
Okay, Carlton, enjoy the rest of the day. Corley Woodrow, let's bring you in here. We're live on BBC. What do you make of all this?
Like Colin just said, unbelievable. Had a promotion before at Barnsley and it was amazing, but this, just something else. The amount of people that have come out today, it's just amazing for the whole town. I mean, just shows how together everyone is, and yeah, amazing day.
Have you ever been on a slower bus ride?
No, I haven't, to be fair. But I think there's a few drums at the front. Obviously, the police are doing their best. But listen, we'll be on here as long as it takes, because all these people, they deserve to celebrate. And yeah, we're just grateful for all their support all year.
Are you ready for the Premier League?
Yeah, of course we are. I mean, when any team gets promoted, I think people ask questions and say, are they going to survive? Are they going to do this? But listen, we've got a great group of lads. Great players. I'm sure the club will do some recruiting in the summer as well, and we'll have a right go and just enjoy it.
Brilliant. Well, I better let you get back to waving. Hope you're not too tired, that hand. Keep it going. So we're on the bus, making our way very, very gradually to St George's Square. How long have we been on it for? A good hour. I reckon we've got another good hour, and probably an hour after that. But it's all good fun. Luton heading to the Premier League.
Oh, I love it. It's going to take an hour just to go a mile. I love the way that you were like just waving at the crowds there, like you're one of the players lapping it up. It is going to be difficult for them.
This is my moment of glory, surely.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I mean, it's very exciting, isn't it, for them to be going into the Premier League? But it's going to be a real adjustment as new players are brought in, isn't it? And all of the changes that are coming their way. There must be a bit of trepidation among the team, mustn't there?
Well, I don't think they'll be thinking about that today. I think most of them are nursing hangovers. But it is always a very delicate balancing act for any manager when they take a team up to the Premier League. What to do? I mean, we saw Nottingham Forest last year successfully spend over £100 million, and eventually it came to fruition and they were better off and they retained their Premier League safety. But Luton have a special way of playing, a special ethos as well. I don't think the manager will be, Rob Edwards, want to be too disruptive because it's been proven to be mightily effective in getting into the Championship. I mean, there is no guaranteed method of success, is there? Chelsea have spent £500 million. Are they a better team? No, they're probably infinitely worse. I think Luton will probably want to buy in a couple of players, of course, supplement some of the talent they've got here. But this group were good enough to get the team into the Premier League, and I'm pretty sure Rob Edwards will be desperate for them to see how they can get on and play them next year, because I don't think anybody's going to fancy coming to Kenilworth Road. 10,000 capacity. I mean, there must be 100,000 people on the streets today. It's going to be very hard work, I think, for any team to come here.
Yeah, someone was describing it earlier as a fierce atmosphere that they've got waiting for them. I suppose they are so proud, aren't they, that they've come all this way without the huge money that, you know, other clubs have seen, you know, along the way. And I suppose everybody talks so much about how this team works so well together. And as you say, not wanting to change that too much. In terms of other other changes we're going to see? Just talk us through, Tom, because the facilities are going to have to change. I mean, we know the other stadium is a long way off in a couple of years or whatever, but we're going to have to see a lot of changes at Kenilworth Road, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, in a way that they're going to have to spend about £10–12 million just to improve the stadium, one of the stands and some of the facilities for the media. It feels like a bit of a waste of money, that, because in the next year or two, I mean, they're hoping to put the first spade in and start work on the new stadium, perhaps towards the end of this year, perhaps early next year. But they're going to get, around 100 up to £170 million for being in the Premier League. That new stadium, which is only about a mile away, they're keeping it in the town, which I think you get a sense of just how important this football club is to the community. Keeping it in the town, I think, is absolutely vital for them. So that'll cost £100 million. I mean, you mentioned if they're going to go out and buy other players. Well, I think they'll probably take a slightly broader opinion on that. This is really crucial revenue, and for a club that has suffered so much over the last 20 years or so, this club nearly went out of business. It really, really did. They had points deductions, they had relegation after relegation. They ended up in non-league, where they had to spend 5 years, oh, sorry about that, just braking, struggling to keep our footing, 5 years in the National League. As I said, almost went out of business, but they've got back up. They'll be prudent. They've got a new stadium to buy and to pay off. And, I think all the club are just so thankful to be here, so thankful for the opportunity, and just can't wait to give it a go.
It's a sort of a riches to rags to riches story theirs, isn't it? Because it was 1992 when they were in the top flight, but they've gone right the way down and right the way back up again. It's such a major sort of roller coaster of a journey, but it's amazing how quickly they've just managed that turnaround over the last few years, isn't it? What's it down to?
Well, the fans got on board. That's a good start point. The fans got on board. They bought out the club. It felt like it was in more stable hands. The club's chief executive, Gary Sweet, is a passionate Luton Town follower. So it required a bit of a reset, to be honest. But if I just ask Kevin, the cameraman, just have a little look out the side. Look at all the fans just lining the streets, if we can get a little bit of a shot. The fans have been behind this club incredibly so over the last few years. Was it a club worth saving? Absolutely it was. And now they've got their moment, quite literally, in the sun.
Some of those fans are walking faster than you're going on that bus. That's brilliant. What about the captain, Tom? Is Tom Lockyer there on the bus?
Tom Lockyer isn't here. I was just trying to find the club's captain, Sonny Bradley. Where is he? No, I can't see him. But I did speak to Carlton Morris a little bit earlier on. Apparently Tom Lockyer is okay. He's up and well. He's not on the bus here today. I'm sure he's watching BBC News and trying to keep across this live feed just to get a sense and a taste of what it's all about. The joyous scenes, sheer jubilation, probably a sense of disbelief if you think of where Luton have been over the last few years to where they're heading now. Next year, they'll be playing the likes of Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, all coming to Kenilworth Road. They'll give them a heck of a game, and they'll also enjoy those days out. But being at the stadium this morning, I'm not entirely sure how much, some of the big players, some of the big clubs are going to enjoy the experience of coming to Kenilworth Road, because it is an incredibly intimate environment, very limited tickets for the away fans. They'll all be squeezed into old-fashioned terracing, squeezed in the middle of an estate. It is something. Is nothing compares to it really in this day and age. Certainly not in the Premier League. Some of the glamorous grounds that the football players play in all around the country. Well, whilst Kenilworth Road is popular and a lot of fans, it's hugely endearing to them. Not quite sure what we missed there. What happened there?
Pelly doing Pelly tricks. He wanted some KFC, so the fans have just gone and got him. Someone's just got lifted up to pass Pelly his KFC.
Well, we're all going to get takeout up here because we've only been on board for a couple of hours.
What he's done for this club, what Pelly wants, Pelly gets today. He's been a legend to the club, great servant, and the fans love him as well.
That is an incredible story, isn't it? For one player to go all the way from non-league up to the Premier League, it's never happened before. I mean, goodness me, it's such a leap each time.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously for himself, but what a person he is, like, obviously, to go up like that, he's been the same person from the beginning to the top. So credit to him. He's, like I said, he's such a talented player. I think every football career has different paths, have you seen? And obviously he's written history in a certain way. So yeah.
What's it like to be on board here today?
Oh, it's amazing. Obviously we knew that they'd turn out in numbers, but we don't think we expected this. It is unbelievable.
Well, enjoy the rest of the day. Good to chat. Well, we are very gradually moving. There's now some orange paint bombs that are going off behind me, as are the fireworks, as are the streamers. I'm not orange yet, but I think in another hour or so I'll be completely orange, but I'll be fitting in perfectly.
OK, well, thank you so much, Tom Williams, for us there live on the team bus as they get KFC delivered to the bus, which from some of the fans down below, that's absolutely brilliant. But it's going so slowly, you can see how easy it is for them to run in and get it for them. Anyway, let's bring in Sarah Mulcollins for us, who is watching from the BBC Sports Centre, our BBC Sports presenter, of course. And Sarah, I mean, they are just absolutely loving this moment, aren't they? Just looking at these images with you now as the orange smoke bombs go off around those two buses making their way to the centre.
Yeah, I was just thinking there, you know, how nice it is for these fans to have this moment with their players. You know, there's so much pressure involved in top-end sport, isn't there? And it's lovely for the fans to be able to celebrate along with those players and the club that they have been supporting all through the years. And we've been hearing, haven't we, about the ups and downs of this club and getting them back to where they are. And I've just been thinking about how nice it is in a way for sport to have stories like this, because sometimes, you know, a lot of people will talk about the, you know, astronomical amount of money that is involved in football and in sport in general. And we can see a lot of the top-end clubs and their budgets for players. And, you know, you wonder at times how you can compete, how you can get to the top level. And Luton Town are a real story of being able to prove that you can do it. And I think that's why an awful lot of people you know, are probably watching on and enjoying these scenes for what it can kind of say about what you can do and how you can punch above your weight. We know that their budget for their players, for those players who are enjoying this victory parade so much, you know, that budget is low for championship standards. It's more of a League One budget, and now they're going to be playing in the Premier League up against players that are probably worth more than that squad as a whole, you know. And so I think it's a good moment as well for football and for the football pyramid in terms of how it works, that, you know, a smaller club like this can reach the top flight and can potentially compete next season. We will see what sort of football they bring and what sort of way the results will go. But, you know, it's a really nice moment, I think, for sport and for competition when you do see sometimes, you know, somebody smaller punching above their weight and they're getting to celebrate that today.
Yeah, it needs to be possible, doesn't it, that you can be promoted and stay up. It needs to be for everybody's interest, isn't it, really, I suppose? It needs to be possible.
Absolutely, and you can hear the players talking about it. You know, when they set out as a team, any team, you know, at the start of the season, they've got to be able to believe that they can achieve sometimes what seems like the impossible. For Luton Town, you know, they reached the playoffs last year, you know, but they've been on this journey, you know, for several years. And I had mentioned Nathan Jones earlier. He was involved in an awful lot of Luton Town's promotion, and a lot of people found every promotion along the way surprising and wondering how they were doing it. So they've been believing for a while that they can achieve what an awful lot of other people would be doubting that they could achieve. And for the guys there to start off at the start of the season and say that, you know, yeah, we lost out in the playoffs last year, but we know we can reach the Premier League. An awful lot of other people would have, you know, maybe scoffed at that. But for those players, they've got to be able to believe that they can do this. And it's a vindication of that for them today, and a belief that, yes, the dream may seem impossible, but actually with the right organisation, the right people in place, the right structures around them, and, you know, and a team working together, you can do that.
And actually, even if they do bounce back and go right back down again, the money still keeps coming, doesn't it? Can you just explain why that is?
Yeah, so it's when you get promoted to the Premier League, because it's such a big step up, if you do get relegated the following season, you do have a few seasons where they have this kind of fund called the parachute payments. And it's basically to try and help championship clubs when they step up to the Premier League to be able to buy and spend a significant amount of money on players, you know, because they obviously are trying to compete with clubs and teams who are, you know, in the Premier League and spending this money year in and year out. And it basically it allows them to try and compete in that first season. And also if they get relegated, that the outlays that they have, you know, put into their club or the squads for that year, it can be kind of, you know, factored in over 3 or 4 years, so that the club, when they go back down, they don't have a massive contraction as well. I know there's an awful lot of talk around parachute payments and whether they will kind of continue on within football, but it is to allow for the fact that it is such a great jump in prize money.
Yeah, just going to move over to Nikki Schiller, who is on the bus route for us. Nikki, I think they're coming your way.
They are literally just passing me as you speak, the bus, and there you can see all the fans are following them as well. But there are the Luton Town players. I'm going to try and keep up with this bus, which my skills of running may not do it, but they're going a little bit faster because we are not far from St George's Square. So that crowd in St George's Square have been waiting since 10 o'clock this morning, a lot of them, and that's why it's speeding up. It's been through Bury Park, which is the area where Kenilworth Road actually is, and that, as you could tell, meant the bus was...
Oh, we're just losing Nicky there as he sprints along the side of the road. It's really unfair because they were going so slowly before they got to him, and then they suddenly got a bit of clear road and they really put their foot down. But anyway, that bus with all the players on board and the trophy, we saw it going onto the bus a little earlier. Nicky, are you with us? No, he's trying to make his way as that bus is, which is going slightly quickly now. Oh, go on then, Nicky, go on.
Yeah, no, the bus has now turned right, and as you can see, all the fans are now running that were behind that bus because they want to get into St George's Square. You can see them all running with me as well because St George's Square is probably less than 4.
Oh, Nicky. Oh.
It's
no, I think we've lost him. Let's just go back. Oh, let's go back to those pictures of the bus. Oh, it slowed down a bit there. It's making its way to the city centre with Nikki Schiller in pursuit. He will be there any minute, I'm sure, as will they. They are going to be greeted by, this is the scene, this is what they're going to be greeted by, thousands of Luton Town fans with their flags ready, their sea of orange there. The council asked people to paint the town orange for this parade, and they are certainly doing it. I think Nicky's still talking as he runs. Should we go back to him? Have we got him? No. Okay. No. Fair enough. So yeah, this is the scene waiting for those Luton Town players in the centre of Luton, there, St George's Square. They've been watching highlights on the screen of their last season and really revelling in this victory. You'll all remember, I suppose, on Saturday they beat Coventry City in the Southern Death penalties. It was the Championship playoff final, sending them back to the top flight for the first time in 31 years. It really has been an epic journey for them, a bit of a fairy tale ascent from non-league to the top flight in just a few years, and it's really, the fans are really behind them. You could really get the sense of pride coming through today from all of the people we've been hearing from, even a fan in Norway who'd changed his middle name to Luton. He was that keen on them, and just getting a sense of how much this means to the city. city, to everybody there, to the fans, but also, I suppose, hearing about the changes that are on the way, not least because of the money that's coming. It's estimated to be about £170 million that they're going to get over the next few seasons. That money coming through in terms of TV money, really, I suppose. It'll also be the sponsorship. We'll also be watching over the next couple of months to see which new players they'll bring in and whether they're going to make huge changes to the lineup or not. Because if you hear one thing said about the team, it's that they play so well together, and that's how they've managed to do what they have over the last few years so far without huge amounts of cash injected in. But they will be getting a lot more money, and they're going to need it. They're going to need around £10 or £12 million to update Kenilworth Road, their ground, which we were seeing pictures of earlier, which is just a very small capacity, 10,000 capacity. But there we are, the bus arriving in the centre. Let's have a listen in as they're greeted by their fans. And there we go, Sarah, who's with me, Sarah Mulcairns. They are lapping up this arrival, aren't they? Look at everybody so excited. The players we just saw there with their arms in the air, the trophy aloft. What a moment.
It certainly is. I can't wait to see all those phone videos that I'm sure they will have up on all their various social media accounts, filming this really special moment for themselves. They've worked so hard all season to get themselves in this position, and they came through such a dramatic championship playoff final. You know, they were a goal up in the first half. They were in control. Their captain, Tom Lockyer, went down. You know, a really kind of, you know, injury or a happening that caused great concern. He was taken off to hospital. He is all right, and we know that. You know, and then Coventry came back into things in the second half. It went all the way to extra time, and then it went to penalties. They had to hold their nerve all the way along in order to finally reach the top flight of English football, and they did it in that penalty shootout, winning 6-5. You know, brilliant for those Luton fans. Obviously agonising for Coventry, the other team who were in that championship playoff final, to have lost out in the way they did. But for Luton Town, you know, they will have been dreaming of this all season and planning and hoping and daring to believe. And today, you know, and the last couple of days for these players, you know, this is the culmination of all that hard work, and they can finally breathe out and they can relax into it and they can enjoy it, and the fans all around them cheering and in the famous kind of orange that they have, you know, are just there supporting them, and it's a real moment for them today.
Yeah, we're just watching the crowd with all the flags and the orange smoke going up in the air, and there's been confetti, and the bus journey has been accompanied with little smoke bombs of orange everywhere. It really is a sea of colour there. You can see in St George's Square thousands of people have gathered, and you can see them stretching out into the surrounding roads as well, and there were people walking along the roads with the bus as it was taking its way from the ground, from Kenilworth Road all the way through. We are expecting the players to get out of the bus and go up on stage. They've got the trophy with them already. We've already seen them holding it up in the air, showing it off to everybody, but they're going to be officially given it on stage by the town's mayor, and then we're going to hear from some of the players and the key figures at the club. Of course, they've been there since 10 o'clock this morning. Those fans, they've not drifted off away at all, even though it has been rather delayed. We were expecting them at 12:15, I think we were, but yeah, they're a little bit late because apparently they've been having a lot of celebrating to do over the last couple of days, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, is it, Sarah?
It certainly won't. They'll be celebrating long into those holidays over the next kind of month or so that they will have before they come back and they regroup and they think about how they can, you know, attack the Premier League, how they can get on together as a team, what new tactics they may need need to work on, what potentially new players that they will be welcoming into that squad. And it's lovely for, you know, for Luton themselves, you know, for the town around it, and everything that will go into, you know, Luton Town being a Premier League club, and, you know, for the town and the people there celebrating, and everything that will go along, you know, with increased attention, people all around the world knowing an awful lot more about Luton, with people wanting to go to matches there. There will be an awful lot of fans from other clubs wanting to visit Kenilworth Road, because we've been hearing so much about that ground, and it is a real hark back to the old days of football. You know, only 10,000 people are, you know, able to fit into that stadium, and how you get into it around those residential streets with the terraced houses. I think it's going to be quite a destination stadium for an awful lot of the other Premier League fans. So there will be increased attention and focus, and all the bonuses that will come with that for Luton Town, you know, and the surroundings itself. You know, it will really kind of benefit in ways more than just the football and the fans in it, and it'll be, you know, as I say, a destination for lots of the other fans, but for those players themselves, you know, taking this moment, you know, behind the stage to perhaps kind of, you know, reflect a little bit on the scenes that they've just experienced on that very slow bus ride in, where they've been, you know, celebrated and congratulated, and here they come onto the stage.
Yeah, look, here they come on stage with their medals round their chest. They're clapping the fans are clapping them, everybody's smiling. What a lovely scene there in Luton, Sarah. They are absolutely loving this moment, aren't they? Look at them all.
And this is a moment, isn't it, where it really, you feel the bond between the players and the fans. You know, the fans are there waiting for hours and hours this morning for these players to come onto stage, where they can, you know, congratulate them. And you see what the players did there, you know, celebrating, but also applauding those fans, because we know, as we've been hearing about Luton Town and how it operates, and the fan ownership element of it, you know, there's a real close link between the fans and this team. And you can even see the players there, you know, wanting to film this moment so that they have this forever for themselves, because it's been a team effort in so many ways. You know, the team on the pitch, but also the team of supporters behind them who've been on this journey with them. You know, when it has been tough, when they have been falling down through the leagues, when they've been in administration, when they have been getting points deducted, when they have been wondering whether they would have a club within the town, and to rise right back to the top of the English football pyramid. This is a real special moment for them all.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that they were nearly bankrupt, I suppose, and the town will remember that, and they'll be hoping for so much to come over the next few months, and the excitement is palpable, isn't it? Everybody you hear from today, they're absolutely thrilled about what is happening. Let's see if we can have a little listen in to what's going on there in the centre of Luton right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll welcome on the directors and staff in a moment, but there were 8 players before Saturday who'd scored for Luton Town at Wembley, and the 9th player to score for Luton Town at Wembley is Mr. Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark, Premier League footballer.
Say it again.
Premier League footballer.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable, man. Look at this. Amazing, man. So good, amazing.
A few years ago, playing against Luton for Hyde and Accrington, and now scoring at Wembley. Talk us through that goal. You might have to shout.
I still haven't processed it, to be honest. Still hasn't sunk in, but just surreal. And these group of lads, the best group of lads I've ever been with, and just so proud to be part of this team.
And what does it mean to these guys to get up into that top flight? We're mixing with the Man Cities and the Arsenals and the Liverpool.
Well, that's why we started out as a kid, you know. You always had a dream to play in the Premier League, and a lot of lads here, same as me, have been through the lower leagues. They've worked the balls off to get here, excuse my language. And I think it means a lot more to you when you've been down in the lower leagues and you've grafted, you've grafted, and then we've got to a position. Obviously, last year we fell short. this year he improved again, and then just so pleased for everyone, especially everyone in the club. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Luton Town goal scorer at Wembley, Jordan Clark.
Just awaiting the second bus with the manager, Rob Edwards, and all the directors on it as well. They're going to be here very soon. But should we bring up Carlton Morris, a man who scored 20 goals this season? This man has been amazing. Carlton, you've had an incredible season. We've just been on the open top bus coming through Bury Park into the town centre. Look at this. This is absolutely incredible. What would you like to say to these fans here today?
Yeah, it's breathtaking, to be honest. Like, got the same feeling now as I did standing up to take that penalty. But no, it's incredible, the turnout today and all the fans that have come out to celebrate together. You know, it's nice because I know these people that work so hard every week to come support us on a Saturday. So for us to give back thanks today and see them lining the streets, it's incredible.
It's been an incredible season for you. All of those 1-0s, amazing goals as well. But the same question we put to Jordan, come August, you're going to be a Premier League footballer. What does that mean to you, Carlton?
A lot of things, yeah, but this is going to be a Premier League club, which, you know, is incredible. The journey it's been on, all you guys have been through it longer than I have. You know, this is my first season. I've just come for the end bit. They've had an incredible journey, and listen.
Take this in. These are memories that are going to live with you for the rest of your life. You've got a little baby on the way as well. You won't be going to Vegas, which is a shame, but obviously family comes first, as Rob has been saying all along. But yeah, incredible scenes here. And come August, you'll be in the Premier League. And I tell you what, this man deserves it, doesn't he? He has been absolutely terrific this season. Ladies and gentlemen, 20 goals, Carlton Morris.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live around the world. We're live on the BBC. We're live across the globe, and we're live in the USA, which means we have to welcome our goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath. Now, I don't know what time it is back home, but I'm sure they're all up watching. What do you want to say to everyone watching around the world and back home in the USA?
No, just want to say thank you so much. It's been a long season. Great support. Yeah, we couldn't have done it without everybody here, and we're going to need you even more next year.
Look, you were the first to celebrate when that penalty, you were the first to know it. You were off and running and it hadn't even gone over the crossbar, you knew.
Yeah, just emotions take over from there, and yeah, it's emotions just took over after that.
Well done. One more round of USA, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Shall we bring up onto the stage a man who's got his own song, Marvellous Nakamba? Now, I'm going to do something a little bit cringe. Marvellous, you've been absolutely terrific since you've come in on loan from Aston Villa. These fans want to know, are you going to join Luton Town in the Premier League?
Oh, Pelly's looking. Yeah, I think him too. I think hopefully.
Hopefully. Hang on. Should we ask the people out there, do you want Marvellous to stay on for Luton Town? Look at this, Marv. Marv, you've been terrific since you've come in on loan. On Saturday, what did that mean to you at the end, knowing that you'd helped this side get to the Premier League?
It means a lot from me, and also I think for the club, the players, everyone, and to be part of that group of players, the supporters, to be part of this history, I feel so happy.
It's amazing. It's an amazing moment for me and also for the town, for everyone. I think it's a good moment for everyone. The community, the players, technical staff, everyone involved with the club, the board, everyone, for the supporters. I'm so happy for them.
Marvellous is not just a brilliant footballer. Marvellous is a wonderful human being as well. For those that don't know, he's helped to build schools and houses and many, many great things in Zimbabwe. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being, this man, and he deserves all the applause he's getting right now. Once again, we hope he stays on. Marvellous Nakamba!
Ladies and gentlemen, he was on the bench on Saturday and he was hoping to come on, but I'm sure he wasn't expecting to come on after 8 minutes. But he had a storming game. Let's welcome Reece Burke. That was some start to your day. You were just sitting, soaking it all up, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, do you know what, you don't expect to come on that early. But I was warming up and I looked at the clock and I thought, bloody hell, I need to put a shift in there, do you know what I mean? But Locks has been brilliant. And do you know, I had to come on and I had to do what he does, what he's been doing all season. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, Tom Lockyer isn't here, but I'm sure he's watching. So I think we need to do a round of a Tom Lockyer song for Tom Lockyer watching, our player of the season. Tommy Lockyer. Thank you, Reece. Well done. Thank you.
Now, somebody who has just arrived in the last few minutes, he stood at the back. I want this man here. Rob Edwards, come to the front. Come on. We are going to be talking to you very soon, but just take this all in. You should not be at the back. What you have done for these people and this town is absolutely incredible. As I say, we are going to ask you a few questions in more detail very soon, but just take it in, Rob. Take it in. A few more detailed questions very soon about where you used to work a few months ago. But look, you're here, you are Premier League. What does that out there mean to you right now, Rob?
Look, it means everything. It's for you, it's for the Luton Town people, it's for the town, it's for these players who deserve it, for this backroom staff that have worked so hard, the board. But look, we've got to enjoy this moment now. It's for you guys. Look how many people are here now. Look what it means to you all. Enjoy it. Make some noise. Come on. Well done.
I'll ask you a few more questions a bit later on. Once again, your manager, the legend that is Mr. Rob Edwards. But now, and I know he doesn't like doing interviews, but these are exceptional circumstances because this man is a history maker. The only player to go from the non-league to the Premier League with the same club. What this man has achieved is utterly remarkable. Please put your hands together for Pelly, Ruddock and Pandu. I remember when a certain John Still, who we absolutely love in this town, signed you from West Ham in the non-league. On Saturday, it's now official. You're going to be a Premier League footballer, Pelly Ruddock.
No, I'm not. I'm retiring. I'm playing football.
The question we all want to know is, who do you want to play you in Pelly Ruddock, the movie?
Someone young. And anyone that want to play more role than
hit me up in it. So yeah, we'll make something happen.
Additionally, for the role of Pelly Ruddock, how hard have you been partying since Saturday, Pelly?
I was even late for the coach today, so yeah, man. It's been a tough couple of days, but yeah, we're gonna enjoy it, and I'll see you in Vegas on Thursday.
He has been partying so hard that we were late here today. There were 3 players that had just gone missing. Nobody could get hold of them. Pelly Ruddock was one of those players. Pelly, just before I let you go, I mean, can you just sum up looking out into the town centre here at this amazing scene in front of us? This town has never seen anything like this before. Can you try and tell us exactly what this means to you at the moment, as somebody who's been with this club all the way from the non-league?
Nah, man, it means everything to me. And listen, it's been
Can we just get some help to somebody down in the middle there, please?
Some medical assistance,
coming
please.
now.
We're just waiting for somebody in the crowd apparently needing medical assistance, so they're pausing those interviews on the stage there with the Luton Town players. So many of the fans there have turned out to greet them in St George's Square. We're hearing from the players thanking the fans for their support, saying, the goalie there saying that we're going to need you even more next season. They had such huge support in the run-up to this, such an amazing story of where they've come from to where they're going to, which is the Premier League. They are now a Premier League club, and all of them just really taking their time to take that in. Every interview started there with, can you believe it, you're now in the Premier League. We were just hearing there from Pelly Ruddock-Mpanzu, who is the first player to go from the non-league to the Premier League with the same club. His journey is almost as remarkable as Luton's, I suppose, and being asked who would you like to play him in a movie. We're also hearing from Rob Edwards there, the manager, standing there on the stage with his boater hat and scarf on, saying that it's for the town, it's for the players, it's to the backroom staff, thanking them for all of their hard work, and also the board. I loved Pelly Ruddock-Mpanzu actually saying that he's retiring. He was joking, of course, I'm assuming. But yeah, he said the other day, I completed football, having risen all the way that he has in such a short time, along with Luton. So quite a few concerned faces on the stage there. Let's listen back in.
Here today, doing a fantastic job.
And the club's medical staff as well, who are straight off the stage and out there to help. Well done, guys.
Once again, if you just make some room down the front there so they can get the lady through. Thank you. So my final question to the legend that is Pelly Ruddock was, looking out at all of these fans right now, this town has never seen anything like this before. What does that out there mean to you right now, Pelly?
Nah, man, everything. Listen, it was a tough season, but finally made it to the Premier League. All the fans come out, enjoy today, enjoy tomorrow, enjoy Wednesday, enjoy Thursday, enjoy Friday, enjoy Saturday, enjoy the whole summer. Because there'll be a party in Luton,
enjoy Vegas. Once again, this man is the heartbeat of this football club. Please put your hands together for Pelly Ruddock-Mpanzu, history maker right there.
OK, there we are. The players are on the stage with their manager, just soaking up the atmosphere. Thousands of fans there in St George's Square in the centre of Luton. If you're watching on the BBC News channel, we are going to leave you now. And if you want to carry on watching, you can stay with it online if you want. So we will stay with you online, but we're going to hand back to the BBC News channel. BBC News channel will be opting away. So thanks very much for watching. Those are the scenes.